I'm not a YouTube creator. I generally have this channel just to post comments. And on that note, I'm a heavily shadow banned individual. So I want to point out some comments that have been banned lately. One of them was the propaganda regarding the Ukraine issue. They're talking about Russia annexing Ukraine or pro-Russian forces. But what you've got to remember is that that should be applied to the other side, the US, pro-US forces, US annexing Russia. Because if you go back before 2014, when Russia had their puppet government or pro-Russian government in the Ukraine, what did they do? Did they leverage it to go and put a missile base on the western border of Ukraine and point it at Germany? Did they annex Crimea? Did they annex Donbass, which is a large Russian population? No, they didn't do anything. That was a defensive move. It's on record. They have a defensive record when they controlled a puppet government in the UK. But when the tables were turned and now they've got a US controlled or NATO controlled or Soros installed government puppet, now they're making aggressive moves. They want to put a missile base in there eventually. They want them to join NATO. And of course Crimea then by choice defected. That's what they did. They didn't get annexed by Russia. They defected to Russia, and Donbass will probably do the same. So what we have is not pro-Russian sort of forces. We don't have or should I say Russian annexation. We have the other way around. We have pro-US forces. We have US annexation of the Ukraine, and the track record is there to prove it. So they're just inverting the truth when the aggressor, of course, is NATO. They're creeping east. Russia is on record for not creeping west, and when they had the opportunity, they did not do it. Now, here's NATO with their controlled Ukraine government. Does the US have indigenous citizens in the Ukraine? No. So what are they doing in there? Of course they're invaders. At least Russia has an indigenous Russian population in there. So they are, how can you call the indigenous people of a country or an area in this place when their government's been taken over? How could you call them the dissidents, or sedition, or the invaders? It's the most absurd thing ever. So that was the first comment that needed to be flipped. And when I'm making that point, it's been taken down. Not Russian annexation, but rather NATO or Western or US annexation. That's the first comment that got taken down. The second one is, it's rather silly really, but it's why don't they give the military-industrial complex infrastructure contracts instead of military contracts? Building roads and fast trains and better electricity grids and whatnot. So that one's getting taken down because, I don't know, open up Pandora's box there. And I'll be back after this pause to remember what the other one was. Yeah, that's right. Whoopi Goldberg saying that the Holocaust wasn't about race or something. Yeah, she's right in a way, because it's just if you apply blind justice, which is the only true justice, then you've got Group A dehumanising Group B for whatever reason. It doesn't matter if it's regarding religion, sex, discrimination, race or nationality or football team. Doesn't matter what it is. It's Group A dehumanising Group B to justify their elimination or genocide. That's what it is. So Whoopi Goldberg's trying to make this point. It's not about race, but the best example is the definition of racist. They've changed the definition, because that's what blind justice would say about racism. But they've changed the definition to only mean when white people dehumanise black people. But if black people dehumanise white people, then it's not racist. So the definition of racist is in itself racist, because it's bias. It's not blind justice. It's only one way justice, which is double standards, which means there's one privileged group and one dehumanized group, and we have racism. So the definition of the racism by the new meaning is, of course, racist. So when we're talking about the Holocaust, yes, it's always white guy, bad to Jew. It's just the same narrative over and over again. But you got to remember, the Allies were white people from America, Britain, I guess France eventually. And from the east, even the Russians, white people again. So why don't we have Thanks for Saving Our Ass Day? by the Jewish community to the Western Allies. No, it's always white guy bad, white guy bad, white guy bad. We fought the Nazis, for fuck's sake. Jesus. So, as you can see, the narrative is only white people can be racist. No, you apply blind justice and you'll find out the reality is, well, it's not just one way, is it? So, Whoopi Goldberg, correct.